my name's Duncan. I'm the system architect of Palace Software, and today we're going to be talking about our document scanning solution. Now, if you're watching this video, you're most likely a developer, because that's who it's aimed at, and at the moment you may be aware that we have a web service that allows you to scan documents directly into Palace Software. If you've been in contact with me, you may have been sent this documentation regarding accessing our web service API. There's three sort of functions that we provide through the API, and they're listed at the top here: property diary entry, property works order, and property batch invoice scanning. The purpose of this video, and there's probably going to be three of them because I'll do one for each function, is to actually talk you through some of the testing you might want to do, because although we've provided this documentation, it doesn't really help you in actually testing it on the Palace side and knowing what to look for, even if you could access Palace. Many of you may have already received your own username and password to the API, as well as access into the Palace Live software. If you haven't, I'm able to provide that to anyone who contacts me directly. So from here, we'll talk about the property diary entry first, I think, since that's the most basic one. And in this video as well, we'll be discussing actually how to access Palace in the first place. Not through the API, but the software itself, in order to test properly. So to start with, I'm just going to go to our standard web page. You'll see that if you just go to realbaselive.com, all of the pages within this site have a sign in New Zealand and Australia option. Now, if you're Australian, currently we only provide the test site for the New Zealand one. So even if you're an Australian developer using this system, it's best to log into the New Zealand website, not the Australian one. So I'm going to click sign in, and this will bring up this screen. Now, what's provided here is effectively a Citrix login page. This software does require Citrix to run the live version. If you already have a Citrix installed, that's fine. You may or may not be aware of Citrix, but it's effectively just a plug into the website to enable the application to run correctly. If you haven't got Citrix installed, I generally install the full receiver from receiver.citrix.com. However, the site will provide a plugin for you to install, and it should detect on your machine whether you have Citrix installed or not. Just a quick side note as well, Internet Explorer has a few security features which you may need to be aware of. If you're running this site, it's best to run it in compatibility view. You'll notice that I've got Realbase Live added, if you've got the latest version of Internet Explorer, into the compatibility view setting. The other area that you should be aware of is an option to add it to your trusted site. So if you go to Tools, Internet Options, Security, Trusted Sites, you'll notice I've got it added in there as well. This is only for if you're running Internet Explorer. It's not required for Mozilla or Chrome, which this will also run under. So that's just a side note to help you get into it if you're using IE. So I would have provided a username and password to some of you at some stage. If I haven't, easy enough, just contact me and I'll send something through to you. So I'm just going to log in with my one now, which is that, and once you've logged in, you'll see that there's just one icon there to load up the Palace demonstration system. And if you've got Citrix installed, this will come straight up. If you don't, it may say you'll need to download it, and you can go through that process as I've described previously. So I'm going to click on there. That should just run it straight up from this site without any further intervention. While that's loading up, just to note that if you've added it to compatibility view, as I described before in trusted sites, you may actually need to shut the browser down and run it back up again before everything works correctly. Okay, so that's the login screen here. Everyone should get pretty much the same login screen. I've provided everyone with just the name. This is just the login screen for the agent itself. For your purposes, Andrew is the login and XXX is the password. Fairly straightforward. Everyone can use that and it should work. So I'm going to log in there. Now, the first thing you'll note is that this is just the home screen. Mainly what we'll be dealing with are properties, so I'm not going to go through how to use Palace in its totality because that's hours and hours of training, which really is not relevant to what you need to do to test this particular service. So the main one we're going to talk about is this property list one up here. And I'm just going to click on that there, and you'll see a list of properties. And pretty much all of the scanning solution runs through the property and the property diary and the property works order, so it's all based on this list. So this is probably the only one we'll most likely delve into a little bit. You'll notice a list of properties here, and in fact what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through to my test site, which accesses the web service. I've created a test site and I'm going to bring it up down here, and this is a sort of a test site that I just created to test the service itself. I can also provide this to people if they request it. I haven't as yet, but I think if somebody uses, I'll provide it as a project. If somebody uses Visual Studio and they want it, I can give you all the code to it. If that's of interest. The main reason I wanted to come to this screen at this point was to talk about the property search area, this get property function that effectively works on this previous list that were brought up. So you'll see, for instance, give you an example, you'll see there's 3 lemon parades here as streets in this particular database, and I'm going to go back to my web service. And this uses the operation contract get property search, and I am going to type in lemon, the first 3 letters of lemon parade, and you'll notice that on each of those it comes up with first of all the street, and then also a little indication of whether that property is active or not. So those are the 3 ones that you saw previously. To give you one more example, if I were to talk about Grover Drive, GRO, same situation, GRO, and you'll notice I sort of autofill. So that might be a nice way to do it if you were developing it on a device, and it would just pop up with after the first 3 letters with a list of what's available under that. So I'm going to stick with Grover for now, and I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to select the agent. Now the agent's a list of agents in the system. You'll notice that we logged in with Andrew. However, there's some other agents in there that you may want to apply this diary. Now what we're talking about this first time is actually the diary entry screen. I've sort of gone off track a bit talking about that search, so just bear with me. What we're talking about is actually putting a diary entry in at the moment. So actually at this point what I'll do is I'll go back to the Palace software. We'll find Grover Drive 29. There it is there. I'm going to right click on it and actually go into the diary to show you what's currently there, and you'll see in the last 3 months there's actually nothing been put into this diary, and I purposely selected this one so that we could see the actual API working. If I go back probably to the last year, yeah, there's a couple of inspection charges in there, so we'll change that back to 3 months just to give us a blank template. So what we're going to talk about now is actually scanning a document and putting it in this particular area directly from the API service, and what it will actually end up doing is creating this sort of file, which has a description, it has an agent, it has a group, It has a link to the specific file. It has some information on whether it's online, suggests that we're going to indicates that we're going to upload it to the owner portal where an owner could possibly see it, and all this information can actually be put in directly from the web service. So I'm not going to add it in here. I'm going to cancel out of this. We're putting Grover Drive 29, so I'll just go back to this area here, and I'm going to just choose myself. Agent is just who the diary is assigned to. The group, you'll notice that's the same grouping that we saw previously. Again, this is using operation contracts to get this information. For now, I'm just going to put note, that's fine, and we'll just put management contract. And of course, there's that online button, true or false, and I can say true or false. I'm just going to leave it false for now. That's fine. Now, obviously, because this is a test site, I'm actually browsing for a PDF, and these web services are expecting a PDF file for all of the scanning functions. So at this point, I'm going to browse for it. If you were running it through an MFD, then obviously it would be part of the scanning process, and it would scan once you'd entered this information in. So I'm just going to hit browse. I've got some pre-worked up diary entries here. I've got an agreement here, so I'm going to use that one. So I've just browsed it, and I'm just going to hit the submit button. Okay, and you'll notice down the bottom it says process property diary external file successful. So what it's done is it's taken all that information, passed it through to our API, and if I go back to this diary, I'm going to close out of it and come back in again. Right click diary, there it is sitting there waiting for me. Management contract, double click on it, you'll notice it's got the group I selected, the agent I selected. I didn't select online. Processed is automatically a default one, we don't need to worry about that. And if I actually have a look at the file itself, you'll see that there's the actual document that I was expecting. So that'll works perfectly. That's pretty much it for the first function we're going to discuss. I'll do the other functions in a separate video, otherwise I think this will be too long. And that's as simple as that. All it is effectively taking the document, passing it through with some description parameters that can be entered in by the user, and it goes straight from the MFD to your printer. So that's it for now. I'll do part 2 in a little while. Thanks.